Finally, it is here, a vacancy for freshers, for very new people without any experience, any prior experience of flying. And I'm talking about Vistara vacancy of A320 type rated pilot that has come up, and I'm going to be talking about that in this very video. So if you want to know more about this one, what are the eligibility criteria and how can you apply for it and other stuff, do watch this video till the entire end. And if you guys are ready, fasten your seat belts because we're ready for takeoff. What's up, fellow aviators, and welcome back to the FlyTuber, Flying Simplified through YouTube. My name is Eliasmer, and on this channel I talk about interesting aviation facts, aircraft knowledge, how airplanes fly, etc. But more importantly, I also talk and I also give updates about aviation, and very important updates like in today's video wherein I'm talking about a new vacancy for freshers by a very good airline, a reputable and respected airline in India, that is Vistara. So if you guys are an aviation savvy, an aviation geek, if you love about aviation, or even if you take it seriously and maybe further down the line you want to be a pilot yourself, then this channel is exactly for you. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel first. I'm waiting for you. Go ahead and subscribe. So talking about the news itself, a very reputable airline in India, that is Vistara. Vistara is a Tata and Singapore Airlines owned company. 15% stake is by Tata's and 14% are stakes of Singapore Airlines. So these two companies have a tandem and they have an airline, that is Vistara. So I know many of you already know about Vistara. So this Vistara company has come up with a vacancy for freshers after more than 2 years. Freshers as in who don't have any prior experience in airlines or flight schools as instructors, etc. is for freshers, meaning you can have just 200 hours experience of your CPL, and on top of that, this is a type rated vacancy. So there are different types of vacancies. I may be making a video separately talking only about types of vacancies, but just quickly so you know, there's a CPL vacancy wherein you only have CPL, then there's an type rated vacancy where you're just type rated on a particular type of aircraft, and experience class vacancy and many stuff. I'm going to be talking about that, like I said, in another video. However, this particular vacancy is for freshers, meaning you don't need to have any prior experience. However, you need to be having your CPL issued 200 hours, and on top of that, over and above, you need to be A320 type rated. And I know about this fact that there are hundreds of type rated people out there in the market in Indian aviation, and if you are one of them, definitely this video is for you. I know many of you might already have the news, but still go ahead and apply for this vacancy. And especially if you are a type rated pilot, सबसे पहले मैं आपसे बात करना चाह रहा हूँ कि this is the time has come to open up your books. I know more than 2 years there wasn't any vacancy. You might have lost touch with the books, but the time has come. You have to open up your books, start studying, give it your best, because definitely there's going to be a huge competition. There's going to be a lot of applications, a lot of people coming in to write the exams, etc. So in order for you, if you want to make sure that you actually get through this selection process, then you have to open up your books and get seriously studying the best you can. Also at this point, I want to make a note that this 2.5-year gap is a lot. The last vacancy that had come up was actually my vacancy, as in the vacancy that I got selected for Air Asia. Basically that vacancy, they needed certain number of pilots, so they didn't get that many because that many people did not clear the written examination. So Air Asia had to come up with another vacancy just next month, but that is considered to be just one consolidated vacancy itself. This I'm talking about it was in February and March 2019, and ever since there hasn't been any vacancy in any of the Indian airlines, basically in Indian aviation market, for pilots for freshers, right? Because immediately after that, you guys know, in mid 2019, Jet Airways had shut down, so there was definitely requirement for other airlines for pilots, but these Jet Airways pilots, the experienced people, shifted to these airlines, ending that requirement gap with the other airlines. Moreover, even after these Jet Airways pilots shifting to other airlines, still there could have been vacancy, but then immediately after that, end of 2019 and actually initial days of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic hit our country, and after that, even जो बहुत थोड़ा सा जो requirement बचा भी था, that requirement was also gone because airlines were bleeding money. There were no passenger traffic. In fact, 2 to 3 months, entire flying in the Indian domestic market was shut. That is why 2.5 years was a huge gap, any vacancy for freshers. And in this 2.5 years, there were a lot of people who were already doing their training. They completed with the CPL. Many of them went for their A320 type rating, and a lot of them were already doing their type rating or were waiting for their endorsements. So basically, the point that I want to make here is that there are a lot of pilots from 2019 March from now on that weren't qualified but now are. So that means there's a huge competition. So if you are one of the people who are watching this video who is A320 type rated especially, bro, the time has come. Please open up your books, and the only way that you're gonna get through this vacancy is to prepare harder and even more than the other person. And there's no one other person, there's a lot of other pilots as well. Well, talking about the vacancy itself, first things first, I'm gonna be dropping down a link directly that will take you to the application portal of Vistara careers page. From there you can apply. And by the way, at this point I also want to reiterate that do not pay money or do not go to any third party websites, etc. Always the best option for you to know if a vacancy is genuine or not, and that if you're applying through genuine sources, to genuine websites, etc. or not, is anytime you have to go through the careers portal of that particular airline itself. So I'll be dropping down the link in the description to the application portal. You can apply from there, especially if you're A320 type rated. I'm talking to you guys right now. And the qualification criteria are a few, about 9 points. I'm going to be putting that on the screen right here. Quickly, I'll also tell you about it. You need to be an Indian national or an OCI card holder of India. It will be 18 to 32 years of age. A lot of people ask me what age is the cutoff. Vistara has a 32 years of cutoff that you can see here. Education qualification, you need to be 10+2. Obviously class 12 maths, physics and chemistry, but they also need 60% aggregate, right? To be a pilot, to get an Indian CPL license, you do not need to have any percentage. If you are a class 12 pass with maths, physics and chemistry, you can be a pilot. But this is what I was talking about. Airlines come up with their own restrictive requirements, and that is one example. 60% in maths, physics and chemistry class 12. Then obviously other requirements, you need to have DGCA CPL, FRTOL, RTR, and you need to have your IR endorsed. You need to have class 1 medical, that's very obvious. Then you need to have ability to speak in English. Basically you need to have an ELP endorsed. English language proficiency test, I've talked about that. There's a separate video, I'll drop a link up in the iCard. And obviously very important requirement, you need to be having the A320 type rating endorsed on your license. And this point, many of the airlines also consider, if you are one of the person who have just returned back from your type rating, you have submitted your papers in DGCA to get the A320 endorsed on your license, then they issue you with a challan, meaning that you're done with the requirements, and basically your files are with us and we'll be endorsing it. If you also have the challan, many of the airlines also entertain that. Just try your luck. If they allow, then why not? Just give the exam. Candidates with ATPL papers cleared is preferred. Once again, very important point. That's why I always urge people to, as soon as you clear your CPL, if at all there isn't any vacancy, especially that was what was the case in the last times in the COVID, if at all there's no vacancy, then first clear your ATPL, because definitely you'll be given preference. And finally, university graduates also will be preferred in addition to the 10+2 criteria. Once again, people ask, is graduation mandatory? No bro, it's not. But some airline may ask mandatorily that yes, I need you to be graduated if at all you want to work with us. Or some airlines like this, in this case, if Vistara vacancy, graduates will be preferred. So especially right now, these 2 points make a lot of impact. ATPL papers cleared will be preferred, and graduate people will also be preferred. These 2 points make a lot of impact, because there's a lot of competition right now, because there are a lot of pilots out there in the market because of that gap I was talking about. So all the best to you guys for this upcoming vacancy, and definitely I'm telling you once again, just mark my words, if at all cases don't rise, if at all third wave doesn't come and nothing of that sort happens, mark my words, within 6 to 7 months, definitely that is what I have heard from many people, many seniors, that definitely vacancies are lined up for type rated people, for CPL, maybe cadet programs as well. So buckle up. There's a lot of vacation mode that we have been in. There's a lot of time off that we've taken from the books, etc. I think now is the time to, buckle up and start studying once again. All the best to all of you who are appearing for this vacancy. I hope that you clear this Give it your best, study, work hard, and make sure that if at all there is just one pilot getting selected, that is you. Now, I'm not only talking to A320 type rated pilots, I'm also talking to just fresh CPL holders, or even if you are doing just your CPL training for that matter. Especially for you guys as well, there is one thing known as plateau, meaning when you are learning, and that, there is a link, continuity, you will be learning a lot and you will be retaining a lot of stuff. बहुत कुछ memory में रह जाता है. But then there is a plateau, especially if you are out of touch with the books, and especially in the pandemic and all, then you tend to forget a lot of things. And I have been through this myself, trust me. The gap between when I studied for my CPL and when I studied for my ATPL, lot of stuff that I had already studied for my CPL, when I went through the same stuff again, I had already done that. I already read about it in CPL. But when I went through the same stuff in ATPL, I was like, do I even know this? Have I even read it at any time? So to you guys, especially who are doing your CPL training or just hold a CPL license, doesn't mean you need not get demotivated. I should have gone for a type rating, etc. No. This is a sign, it's a signal. Vistara coming up with a vacancy for freshers is a signal that Indian aviation market is bouncing back. There is another video that I'm gonna be making why Indian aviation market is the best to be right now, best place to be right now as a pilot. I'm gonna be making a video on that later on. But just understand that Vistara has come up with a vacancy for freshers, no prior airline experience required, meaning Indian aviation market is actually bouncing back. Let's just hope and pray that no third wave and all. I just know that China has undergone a complete lockdown again. So let's hope that all this does not happen. If at all third wave and rising in cases and all these things don't happen, definitely vacancies are gonna come. Further vacancies, type rated, CPL, and other vacancies are definitely gonna come. So make sure you do not leave studying, and if you already have, then make sure that you open up your books. If you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you like me giving you updates, definitely I'm going to be giving any further updates in any department, any vacancies coming up. So if at all you don't want to miss out on any of these updates, and if you want to get these updates as quick as possible and very first, make sure to like this video and obviously subscribe to the channel. That's the most important thing. And also make sure to hit that notification bell icon so that you receive a notification as soon as I drop a new update or a new video. That's it for today's video, and I'll be seeing you in a further and next video. Until then, take care, bye-bye, and happy landings.